Hello and welcome to Writing America, Pages and People. If you're here to learn about an American author and some of their works, then you're in the right place. My name is Rachel Rigolino and I'm an instructor in the English department at the State University of New York at New Paltz. So come on, we'll watch this video and leave some comments below. John Langan was raised in the Hudson Valley, where he lives with his wife and younger son and a collection of animals. A writer of contemporary horror, Langan has been a finalist for the International Horror Guild Award. And in 2008, he was a Bram Stoker Award nominee for Best Collection. And then in 2016, a Bram Stoker Award winner for his novel, The Fisherman. He is on the board of directors for the Shirley Jackson Awards, which recognizes outstanding achievement in the literature of psychological suspense, horror, and the dark fantastic. In addition to writing, Langan has also taught courses in creative writing and literature at both SUNY New Paltz and Marist College. As reviewer Elizabeth Hand once observed of Langan, his tales celebrate supernatural fiction's antiquarian and visionary past with as much eloquence and acuity and terror as they explore the heart of the 21st century. His most recently published collection of stories is Sapphira, which came out in paperback in 2019. Langan's first short story collection, Mr. Gaunt and Other Tales, appeared in 2008, and then was followed by House of Windows in 2009. One reviewer said of these stories, quote, "Think Henry James and Joyce Carol Oates with just a few paragraphs of Joe Lansdale," which of course is good company for any writer to be in. Langan published his novel The Fisherman in 2016, and this really is one of my favorites. Set in the woods around Woodstock, the novel features the mythological Dutchman's Creek, which flows out of the Shokan Reservoir. The two protagonists, Abe and Dan, are widowers who have found solace in each other's company and a shared passion for fly fishing. They hear fantastical rumors of the creek and what might be found there, but they dismiss all this as just another fish story. Soon, though, the men find themselves drawn into a tale as deep and old as the reservoir. It's a tale of dark pacts, long-buried secrets, and of a mysterious figure known as the Fisherman. The Wide Carnivorous Sky, John Langan's second collection of horror and weird fiction, came out in 2018 and contained some of the author's most renowned short fiction. It was celebrated by critics and readers alike. The story we are reading, June 1987 Hitchhiking Mr. Norris, is one of the stories found in that collection. Mr. Norris, as I will shorten the title, was originally written as part of a collaborative project conceived of by Langan in honor of his friend and fellow writer of horror fiction, Laird Barron. Langan reached out to writers who knew Laird and asked them to imagine their friend's backstory, so to speak. In other words, to come up with a fictional biography that would explain the man and writer Laird became. Mr. Norris is Langan's riff on an imagined incident back in 1987 when Laird was a young man. I've included a snippet from a longer interview with Langan in which he discusses some of the deeper existential reasons he's drawn to writing horror stories and novels. I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, this is Mike Davis with Lovecraft Ezine, and today is Sunday, February the 9th, 2014. This is our regular Sunday video chat. And today I'm talking, I should say we, because several of us here are talking with author John Langan here. John's the author, let's see, your latest book, John, is not the dark, as I I gave you a new title today, The Dark Carnivorous Sky, but it's The Wide Carnivorous Sky.
It can be The Dark Carnivorous Sky if that works for you.
And Mr. Gaunt, and what else do you have out there?
I have a novel, House of Windows, and I also co-edited a collection called Creatures, 30 Years of Monsters, with Paul Tremblay.
Okay. Now, it's not just me doing the interview, because I think these, especially Joe here, knows you pretty well, so we're all going to harass you equally. But for those that are watching out there, either live now or watching the recorded version, that don't know who you are, could you just kind of back up a little bit and explain how you got into writing horror and just a little bit about your background?
Sure, absolutely. I'd be happy to. And first off, thanks for having me, and everybody who's shown up. Thanks very much for taking the time to be here. I appreciate it and look forward to the harassment. When I was, I'm not sure how far back to go. My first memory, or one of my earliest memories.
Well, I saw that. I think your first sale was in 2001. Is that right?
Yeah, I sold to it was actually 2000, I guess technically. The story first appeared in 2001. I had wanted to be a horror or dark fantasy writer, however you want to put it, for most of my life, in various ways. When I was a little kid, I was a big fan of comic books. That got me into reading a lot of Robert E. Howard, Conan, of course, but also it was a collection my local library had called Wolf's Head and Other Tales, which I just used to take out over and over and over again and read and reread. The Thing in the Mound, absolutely terrified me. And then when I got to freshman year of high school, I picked up Stephen King's Christine in paperback. And my God, that absolutely magnetized me. That made me feel, as nothing else I'd encountered before then had, this is what I have to do. And so all through high school and into college, I tried to write. I tried to read, and I tried to write this stuff. When I was in my 20s, I became very self-conscious about doing it, about writing horror. Oh my God, was this literary enough? And so for my 20s, I moved away from it and wrote a lot of, I guess what I thought was more mainstream stuff, although in retrospect, the underlying emotional content was always dark, was always horrific. And then in my late 20s, when my wife and I got together, she said to me, "Why don't you just write? You like horror stories. Why don't you write horror stories?" In essence, and I did, and that's where I've been ever since, quite happily. And at the same time, I made the acquaintance of a number of other really talented writers like Laird Barron and Richard Gavin, Simon Stranzis, Molly Tanzer, Livia Llewellyn. This crop of writers right now. Many of whom appeared in or were dragged into Joe Pulver's most recent anthologies, I just have been extremely lucky to be part of that group.
Now, are you writing full time?
No, I teach part time at the State University of New York at New Paltz, where I do creative writing. And whatever else they'll throw me. This semester I'm teaching a course in the novel as well. And I also teach part-time over in Poughkeepsie at Marist College, where I do literature classes.
What is it about horror that appeals to you so much?
That's the question, isn't it?
I don't know if I don't know that I could answer it either.
Well, I think that it's, I know that the sort of popular answer to that is, it's all about death and our fear of death and what have you, and I don't discount that as a possible answer. I think for me it has to do more profoundly, sort of existentially, I guess you might say, with the feeling that we have so often, that the world just kind of drops out from underneath us. The ground on which we thought we were standing so securely just falls away from us. When I was back to my childhood, when I was a little kid, I had a piece of metal in one eye, in my right eye, just a speck, but the kind of thing where they have to put you out to remove it. And I can still remember being in the darkness with an eye patch on, and my arms in boards, bound in restraints so that I couldn't tear the eye patch off because I was like 2.5. And I can still remember being in that dark, cavernous space, just thinking, what's going on? When I was older, when I was an 8th grader, my dad, who was a lifelong smoker, had 2 heart attacks, one one right after the other. One that put him in the hospital, and then the other while he was in the hospital. He survived them, but they completely changed the next 10 years of my life. And so for me, time and time again in my personal life, and I feel I'm far from unique in this regard, there have been these moments where the bottom drops out. And I think that's actually a fairly common experience for people. You're going along, you think everything is fine, and then all of a sudden, something terrible happens. And to me, horror is one of the genres that really gets to the heart of that really gets to the heart of that feeling of, I guess what the French existentialists called absurdity, just the sense that every now and again your life just, boom, blows up. And yeah, I mean, you can do the biographical thing if you want to look at Lovecraft, you want to look at Stephen King, what have you. But I think of it as more than just a sort of a symptom of a neurosis or something. I think it actually speaks to the human condition in that way, in really profound ways. And there were monsters too, which I absolutely love.